Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audio fiction. This is a special two-parter for LadyNoir July. Kat writes Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. So I hope you enjoy it. This is also a massive thank you for the 1 million views. So thank you so much for all your love and support. Massive shout out to Fawn at Cake Bunny on Instagram for the use of her amazing stunning art, which actually helped to inspire this piece. So all her information is down below. Make sure you go and send her some love. Make sure you send me some love by smashing that like button. Comment down below what you think of it and what you think will happen in part 2, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on other one-shots and series and other things that are happening with this channel at the moment. And I hope you enjoy. Part 1. Kat didn't know why Bunnix had come to him, especially in the middle of the night. Why she had chosen Kat to fulfill this task rather than Ladybug. But he had soon learnt when Bunnix appeared and needed your help, it was for the greater good. It was for a reason, and who was he to say no when Paris needed him? Kat, well, now currently RabbitNoir to say no. It was only meant to be for an hour, Bunnix had told him, and she couldn't let the burrow go unattended, not with Monarch on the loose. Not when he currently held so many Miraculous. But he had failed to ask if it was an hour in his time or an hour in Bunnix's world, whatever that meant. I mean, she literally travelled through time. Was it even a concept of a clock in the burrow? And yet, when the time on his staff informed RabbitNoir that she had been over an hour already, with the need to pass time and the thought of cheering up his lady, his little bug, an idea had formed in his head. Rather, it was a thought which kept bouncing around his mind with little to distract as he stood in the strange dome-like room of the burrow, resisting the temptation to search every window that stared back at him. And yes, Bunnix had said, "Kat, don't be tempted to look through the windows. There are some things you shouldn't know or comprehend without fully understanding the complexity of the burrow, how it can show you the past, present and future, or endless possibilities of what could happen, but might never do with the ever-shifting grains of time." He understood. He didn't want to know what the future might hold, but the past, well, that had already happened, hadn't it? What would be the issue if we found a way to pick a certain point in time for someone special? Ladybug shared little personal information, even with a cat, which could give away her identity. It had always been one of her strict rules. However, one evening on patrol as they guarded the city of Paris while the citizens slept in their beds, Ladybug had shared her favourite film was Roman Holiday and how it brought a sense of comfort to her each time she watched it. So with that in mind, an empty burrow and Kat's desire to express how much his lady meant to him, how could he not form a plan? And if it didn't work, then who would know? But when the window next to him suddenly became clear, showing him an image of the set of Roman Holiday, he wondered if it was a sign telling him this was a good idea. Ladybug peered at him over the top of her yo-yo. "Seriously, Kat?" She tried her hardest not to show an inch of pleasure she secretly felt at reading the story for the 3rd time. "How would that ever be a good idea? Do you know the impact that would have?" "LB, don't stop reading. You're missing out the best bit. When RabbitNoir gifts his lady with..." Kat grinned up at the stars, his arms behind his head acting like a pillow. "Oh, you mean this bit?" Ladybug scanned the next paragraph and cleared her throat to begin the narration. As RabbitNoir presented his love with the gently folded stripy silk necktie from the movie, Ladybug instantly wrapped her arms around his neck and pulled him in for a hug he had been waiting for. With their cheeks mushed together and the look in his lady's eyes told him she now felt the same, and his lips... Ladybug paused, feeling the heat rush into her cheeks. Really, Cat? Oh, come on, LB! Why did you have to stop reading there? He turned his head towards her with a smirk spread across his lips. Anything to do with the blush which is darkening across your cheeks by any chance? Yeah, right. Don't be silly. I just didn't feel the need to continue. What? Are you not enjoying this masterpiece? I think the writer shows a lot of promise, and hearing you reading it out loud makes me appreciate other Miraculous Ladybug's audiofics. What are you talking about? I know you wrote this, Cat. Ladybug remained fixed on the spot, imagining her feet were glued down and not wandering over to where he was lying down so that she could sit next to him. How? It clearly states it's anonymous. Why would I ever write fanfiction about us? Bugaboo. His green eyes sparkled with mischief. Who else would know such details about the burrow? When you became RabbitNoir straight after Monarch had... well, it can't be anyone else. And when Alya had posted the competition on the Ladyblog, I don't think... Cat chuckled to himself as he turned his attention back towards the night sky. Okay, yeah, you got me, LB. But I have to admit, it was kind of fun doing it. And I thought the whole reason Alya set up the competition was to boost the morale of the city. Yeah, it is. Well, have you seen how many likes and clicks my story has gotten in the past 12 hours? Plus, it was fun writing it. And what, Cat? Are you gonna start writing LadyNoir fanfiction? Maybe. I could reach out to Alya and suggest Cat Noir Journal, writing little stories for us. I'm being serious, Cat. Oh, hiding her amusement was becoming almost impossible. No, she had to remain serious. However cute she had thought it was, and the simple fact it held a bigger security risk. If he leaked something important and Monarch somehow became aware of it, the implications could be disastrous. So am I, LB. I think our fans would love it. Okay, one, we don't have fans. Cat turned his head and raised his eyebrows at her. I mean, we don't do what we do, protect the people of Paris to gain fans, she said, crossing her arms against her chest. And if Alya discovers you wrote this story, not Cat, but you, I made sure I submitted it through the right channels. It can't get traced back to my identity, and even if they did, I don't think they would believe it. Or maybe I should have used a famous name. Blame it on them. Or what about Adrian Agress? Ladybug laughed so hard she had to hold her stomach. Adrian Agress would never write fanfiction. You say it as if you know the guy, Ladybug. Why not? I hear he's a big fan of ours, LB, and it is actually fun once you start. Cat laughed to himself. Oh, he was enjoying this all too much. Anyway, besides that fact, you haven't told me if you enjoy my story, my lady. Cat, that's not the point here. Not only are you risking your identity, but you're giving the wrong impression of us. Bunnick's requesting you to watch the burrow, you stealing an item from a film set in the 50s, and then She could feel the blush forming across her cheeks again at Cat's words. his descriptive words of their first kiss, and how she had felt the first time she had read it, knowing it was coming from him. But was it all an act, or did he still feel that way towards her? She shook her head and shifted her gaze onto the cityscape in front of her, telling herself the flush in her cheeks was due to the stuffy summer night. It gives the wrong impression of us, is all I'm saying. My story is nothing compared to other LadyNoir stories I've read. Our battles, our reveals, our kisses. She didn't need to look at him to tell he was smirking. That photo of us kissing after Oblivio fueled a lot of fan art to be posted of us kissing. He let out a little cough. Anyhow, I think the art I commissioned is adorable, and Cake Bunny, the artist, did an amazing job. It helps the story to stand out. Okay, yes. The artwork you requested is pretty cute. She twirled her fingers together. But really? If you're gonna write one, then maybe focus on a more realistic point of view of what it's like to being us. That's not really the point of fanfic, my lady. But if you were saying you could do a better job than me, I would love to see that. She hadn't heard him rising to his feet and making his way towards her, swishing his tail in his hand. What, Cat? Don't you think I can? I will show you. I am just as capable as you are, and there'll be a lot less fluff in mine. She spun round and found his face considerably close to hers. Blast the uncontrollable blush on her cheeks. Fluff? My feelings for you, my gesture of love is all fluff to you, bugaboo? He teased, raising his eyebrows and leaning in a little closer. His words, as their lips had touched, echoed in her mind. Turning away, she took a step back. Stop calling me that, and yes, isn't it? Was she really asking him that? Right now, as they fight over fanfiction? It had been months now, when he hadn't even hinted at his feelings towards her. He had been there for her, supported her, cared for her, but love? That she wasn't sure of anymore. In fact, she hated to admit to herself how she had caught him mentioning how he cared for, had feelings for someone else, without the mask on. She darted her eyes over her shoulder and found him staring back at her, questioning the meaning behind her own question. Forcing herself to break the trance once more, and wished for a cool breeze to engulf her. There are still 2 weeks before the deadline of the competition. That would be plenty of time for you to come up with a story that could better mine. But then again, saying that, I don't know if that is possible. Ladybug found herself taking the bait, exposing her more competitive side with the wide grin on her face. Oh, it is, and you are on. That should be more than enough time, and I will show you. She poked her finger at his chest and felt it shake under the held-back laughter. Well, I look forward to getting a progress report on our next patrol, my lady. He tilted his head with a nod, but couldn't remove the mysterious grin across his face. Wait a minute. Cat, have you just tricked me? Oh, I better go. See you later, Albie. His laughter rang out over the rooftops as she could only stand there embarrassed, watching the figure of Cat getting smaller as he sprinted away from her. Oh, that blasted Cat! How had she fallen for his trick? Was this his plan all along? Either way, she had agreed to it, and now there was no going back. Marinette sat at her desk, surrounded by post-its, and Tiki, who had told her at least 10 times now how this was a bad idea. She spun the pen round in her hand, trying to think like Ladybug, who was going to write fanfiction about herself and Cat Noir. She really had to wonder about her life sometimes. There was a coded-out knock on her trapdoor before it burst open. There is no way. What you told me is true. Seriously, girl. Marinette gestured for Alya to close the hatch before she continued to talk. Don't worry, your folks are down in the bakery serving customers. But you mean it? That story about Bunnix was written by Cat? Alya bounced on the balls of her feet and expressed an excitement equal to a young child at Christmas. You can't say anything, you promised me. If people found out that Cat Noir was one of them who submitted into the contest, or that Ladybug was about to, yeah, I get it. Even if it would blow up my blog and make the contest go viral, but you haven't told me why you are doing it. I'm not surprised by Tomcat, but Marinette? That is something I didn't expect. Neither did I. No offense, but he acted more cunning like a fox. Alya laughed. I've got to hand it to the boy. Not many can outsmart the bug. Do you think that was his plan all along? Oh, I have no idea. Nevertheless, here I am, trying to pick a battle I could use to base a story. Marinette plucked off 4 of the post-its from her desk, describing some more promising, famous Akumas, which anyone would know about. In 2 moves, Alya swept in and snatched them out of Marinette's hand. Mr. Pigeon? I think everyone is sick of him. Queen Banana is Chloe being a brat, and Soul Crusher is a giant version of Chloe. And don't get me started on the costume Monarch came up with for your granddad as Simple Man. Alya scrunched up the post-its in her hands. What else have you got? They are the only ones I could think of, which were televised a lot. The rest could give too much away. Marinette picked up some of the others she had already rejected, reminders of moments she had shared with Adrian or Kat. Okay, I get that. Then why not do what Kat did and come up with your own story? Alya grabbed some paper and a pen off the desk and perched down on the floor next to the chase. And what? Find us battling the exact villain a week later when it goes live on the blog? Marinette let out a groan before her head landed with a dull thud on the desk. Alya muffled the snigger at the bright pink post-it now stuck to her bestie's hair. Hey, this was your idea, remember? I wanted to do something to help, and you came up with the idea of boosting the morale of the city and reduce the amount of Kumas, and even the idea of the fanfic competition, which you promised me never to tell anyone. It was bad enough that Kat wrote one. Imagine what it'd be like if he discovered it was my idea to host the competition in the first place. Marinette winced as she pulled off the glued paper from her hair, and the images of Kat's face if he did find out. Oh, the embarrassment. How did you come up with the idea, Marinette? Is there something you want to confess to me? Secretly read in your spare time? Alya leaned in closer and rolled her lips in a failed attempt at the massive grin spreading across her face. A little romance between Cat and his lady? Alya! Seriously, what are you implying? You know I don't with Cat? Marinette tried scoffing at the suggestion, but instead ended up coughing in a not-so-subtle way. Plus, Cat doesn't even like Ladybug anymore. He says someone else is. Not that there is enough drama. We don't. Maybe not. Alya gave her the hard stare, her journalism stare. Based on the fanfic he wrote, would suggest that he at least has some feelings for you. Not that you are interested. Marinette flicked her hands through the air, dismissing the notion. Speaking of which, shouldn't you be helping me in the fictional world, not reality? Well, they do say write what you know. Alya wiggled her eyebrows at her. Okay, girl. So, tell me, what do you have so far? Thank you so much for listening to part 1 of Cat Writes Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. It really does help to boost the channel. Make sure you comment down below what you thought of this part and what will happen in part 2, which will be coming out very soon. And make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on this other part and other one-shots and other series that are taking place at the moment. And again, thank you so much for all the love and support you have shown my channel and me, and yeah, so thank you so much for 1 million views, and I hope you are good, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.